Okay, so today we're going to do 5 proportions and triangles. The first theorem is the side splitter. If a line is parallel to one side of a triangle and intersects the two other sides, then it divides those sides proportionally. So QR over RX is equal to QS over SY. The corollary to the side splitter theorem is that if 3 parallel lines intersect 2 transversals, so if A is parallel to B is parallel to C, then the segments intercepted on the transversals are proportional. So the parts that are intercepted are proportional to each other. So AB over BC is equal to WX over XY. And the last theorem, triangle angle bisector theorem, if a ray bisects an angle of a triangle, then divides the opposite side into 2 segments that are proportional to the other 2 of the triangle, other 2 sides of the triangle. So AC over CD equals AB over BD. So example 1, using the side splitter theorem, what is the value of x in the diagram at the right? So we're trying to find out what is x equal. So the side splitter tells me that I want to write a proportion, and I've written a proportion using the name of the triangles. So MK over KP equals ML over LN. All I really do for all of these problems is just find my sides and draw my fraction bars and my equal sign. And then I just go ahead and write my proportion. So when I plug in all the numbers, I end up with 12 over x plus 1 equals 9 over x. And if you can see here, with my fraction bar here, it's the same thing. So then from here, I'm going to go ahead and cross multiply. Okay, so we've written 12 over x plus 1 equals 9 over x, and then I'm going to cross multiply 12 times x, and then I have to do distributive property. So 9 times x and 9 times 1 becomes 12x equals 9x plus 9. I want to combine like terms. My 12x and 9x are like terms. So since 12x is by itself, I'm going to go ahead and subtract 9x from both sides. And I'm going to be left with 3x equals 9. And the last step is to divide both sides by 3. And x equals 3 is your final answer. Go ahead and pause and everybody try example 2 if you haven't done so yet. Oh, never mind. It's showing it right here. So, never mind. Don't try it. So, using the side splitter theorem, what is the value of x? It says x here, but it has a. It doesn't matter. So, I've shown you again, because you all should have tried these on your own throughout the week. I've shown you how I've just drawn my lines and my equal sign. And I'm just writing my fraction just as is. So I really don't have to even think about anything except how to solve for a. So I'm going to go ahead and cross multiply, and I end up with 18a equals 12a plus 48. I'm going to have 12a plus 48 because I have to distribute the 12 to the a and to the 4. My next step is to solve, to combine like terms. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 12a from both sides. And end up with 6a equals 48. And the last step is to divide both sides by 6. And my final answer is a equals 8. Go ahead and pause if anybody's going too fast for people. Okay, example 3. 3 campsites are shown. What is the length of the site along the river? So, what I'm trying to find is the site A. So this x is going to be over here. I'm trying to find what x equals. So again, if I just draw my fraction bars in the middle of my parts, put my equal sign in the middle, then I can just go ahead and write my proportion. X over 9 equals 8 over 7.2. Because I'm trying to see what x equals. And since you have 3 parts, the only part that you have that has a length of this side of the river and the length of the side of the road is this middle site B. So you're going to go ahead and use that one as one of your fractions. Since you're trying to find the length of the river for site A, I've just put an x here. And so now I want to cross multiply. I end up with 7.2x equals 72. I go ahead and divide both sides by 7.2, and I end up with x equals 10. So now we want to find out what is the length of site C along the river. So instead of putting the x here, I'm actually going to put it here. And then what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and put my fraction bar and move my equal signs. I'm still using this site B as one of my fractions, just because it's already there, it's easy to use, it's easy to see what the two parts equal. And they're exact, so in case you messed up over here, you don't want to use this new answer just in case for some reason you did something wrong. Alright, so my fraction is going to be 8 over 7.2 equals 6.4 over x. I'm going to go ahead and cross multiply. 8 times x is 8x equals 7.2 times 6.4 equals 46.08. From there, I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by 8. I'm trying to solve for x. And my final answer is x equals 5.76. And so the length, I would actually put my final answer for both of these with the yard symbol behind it. YD, because they're both in yards. And the last two examples, example 4, using the triangle angle bisector theorem, what is the value of x in the diagram at the right? So as you can see my answer, so what's the triangle angle bisector theorem tells me that this is the bisector, and it breaks the one triangle into two proportional parts, two proportional triangles. And so I think again the easiest thing is to draw my fraction bars in between and my equal sign. And then I just go ahead and write the fraction. 10 over 12 equals 18 over x. 10 and 18 should be across from each other because they're both part of the base. So that's what's proportional to each other. And then 12 and x should be across from each other because 12 and x are both the legs of the triangle. So those parts are proportional to each other. And so then I go ahead and cross multiply. I end up with 10x equals 12 times 18 is 216. And then my last step would be to do what? Divide by 10. So divide both sides by 10. And you end up with 21.6. Example 5, using the triangle angle bisector theorem, what is the value of y in the diagram? So again, as you can see, I've drawn my fraction bars and my equal sign. And so I'm just going to go ahead and write my fraction, my proportion, which is y over 9.6 equals 24 over 16. From there, I'm going to cross multiply. I'm going to end up with 16y equals 230.4 because I'm multiplying 9.6 times 24. And then the last step will be to divide both sides by 16. And I end up with y equals 14.4. So that should be fairly easy to follow along. You may use your notes for your quiz, so as long as you've written everything down, you should be good when you take your quiz tomorrow. Go ahead now and do examples 6 and 7 if you had skipped those because you weren't sure how to do them. And pause the video, and then when everybody's ready, go ahead and watch it again because I'll have gone over them. Okay, so the first in example 6, use the figure to complete each proportion. A over B equals D over E. How they've written it, instead of up and down, they've written it across as a fraction, so A over B equals D over E. The next one, B over blank equals E over F. So if they're using E over F, and we have B over something, it would be C. Because B divided by C equals E divided by F. And the last one, A divided by B plus C, so A divided by B plus C would be blank divided by E plus F, so it would be D. Example 7, what is the value of X? I've gone ahead and written it as fractions. These two parts divided by, equals this fraction here, 10 over X. And the reason I did not write 45 was because the whole length is 45, so if you're using part of it as 30, the other part has to be 45 minus 30, which is 15. You cross multiply, you end up with 30, X equals 150, you divide by 30, and you get 5. Over here, same thing, I've just drawn my fraction bars here, and I've written 12 over X equals 16 over 20. Cross multiply, you end up with 16x equals 240. Divide both sides by 16, and x equals 15. Okay, so go ahead and take out your textbooks, and you're going to go ahead and work on an assignment out of 7.5.